Hey guys, and welcome back to another review. This is a light review, but it's not a dedicated flashlight, though certainly is a light for multi-source use. So this is the Nextorch UT41 multi-source signal light. It contains 6 different light sources. I'll go through bits and pieces of this later, but this is basically, as you can see, that's the box. When I first got it, I thought it looked a bit like one of those garage remote controls. It's got a couple of buttons here on the side: red, blue, yellow, green, white, infrared light as well. On the side of the box, it has some of the specifications of the light. So it actually tells you the output for each of them: red light 3 lumens, blue light 2 lumens, yellow 9, green 12 lumens, white light 20 lumens, infrared lights. Also got a red and blue flash as well. It tells you the different run times as well if you have the LEDs constantly on or if they're flashing. Quite impressive. They're both in the double digits. You can mount it to a helmet. You can mount it to straps, MOLLE system, arc rails, helmet mounts. You can see here also Type-C, USB Type-C, rechargeable just underneath one of those rubber gaskets on the back. And size 62 millimeters by 27 millimeters by 25 millimeters. Comes with a 500 milliamp battery in there and 29 grams, so pretty light. And I really like that Nextorch take that same stringent process with all of their lights. They're using those FL1 standards, 2 meters submergible and 2 meter drop resistance. And I've carried around the UT41 for over a week now, and I've used it mainly as a backup light on my belt. I've used it also as a close range light when attached to my hat, like a general work light just attached underneath. You can use this clip here on the back, and I find it very useful just as something I can keep in my bag. Barely notice that it's there, and it's got really long run times as well. I've also used it as a night light on the red mode, so just activating the red LED at 3 lumens so that I don't blind myself at night or lose my night vision. A few other ways you could use it: you could attach it to your bike. You can use it as an alert or search or rescue beacon if you're on outdoor trips, you get lost, or you want to attract attention. Also use it as a hazard light if your car breaks down on the freeway. Stick it to the back of your car. General flashlight, that's I guess how I've been using it mainly. And as a backup flashlight, as the white is still pretty bright, 20 lumens, and it's more for close range, especially if you're doing things like fishing or working with your hands up close. It does have 2 meter water resistance as well if you're working near water. Active IR light as well for friend or foe identification. So this is actually a usage that was stated on the Nextorch website. I ended up getting lost in all these articles reading about friend or foe identification, but basically with the IR light, it's barely visible when you turn it on. You can see a tiny little red glow coming from it, but it's barely visible. However, if you have someone that's around you that's using night vision goggles, that's going to stand out. It's going to be very easy to be able to tell where you are. So it can be used to mark your position to teammates. The different colors are also good for group identification. So you could be in a team and have, all blue or all red, 2 different teams, that kind of thing. In terms of the overall construction, it's made out of polycarbonate, keeps things light at 29 grams. The transparent case is also to allow for omnidirectional signaling. And, for example, you've got this light here, it will flash here, but you'll be able to see it being diffused all across the light itself. Like I mentioned before, it's compatible with the MOLLE system or mounting on straps, helmet rails. I really like the metal clip actually because it has these 2 grooves. Can you see them here just behind the clip? And it actually allows it to kind of grip onto and lock things in there. So if you're kind of clipping it onto a strap or something, it's not able to move past. Even when you pull it quite hard, you've got to lift the ring a little bit to stop it from being caught on those 2 little parts there, which I think was a really good addition. Large inbuilt battery as well. You can just sort of see it here. It looks like one of those lithium polymer cells that sits right at the back. 500 milliamp hour cell, and it has USB-C charging. The LEDs are visible under here. They're surface mount LEDs, red, blue, yellow, green, white, and infrared. They're very efficient LEDs, but again, they're low output. So let me show you a bit of the UI so you know what to expect. Now, a subtle difference here is you can see the on switch is slightly elevated. Can you see that? So if you're in the dark and you're trying to figure out which switch turns on the light, you're not going to have any issues there figuring it out. You know this one's slightly recessed and this one's elevated a bit, and that was an intentional design by Nextorch. So we turn the power on just through that switch here. Okay, and what you can do is sort of click it straight away. So click one, that turns the light on to the last memorized mode. That's red. If you click again, within 3 seconds, after 3 seconds, sorry, it turns the light off. But if you click it quickly a second time, it will flash that red LED. Okay, another click will turn the light off. But say if I just want it on like this, okay, leave it for 3 seconds, click it again, and it turns off. So it remembers the last mode. So yeah, you have the light on. You click that second switch to basically just switch between the different colored LEDs. Okay, and this is one that's red and blue flashing, probably designed more for law enforcement or getting attention if you need it. Okay, but say you've got this one here, and then we'll switch the mode. Oops, turn it on again, and we'll start flashing red. Okay, you can turn the light off, turn it on again. Okay, and it still remembers that red light. If you want to cycle through all the flashy modes, you can turn it on to any sort of mode like this one. This is just the yellow flashy light, and then just cycle through the different LEDs like that. Okay, and that just goes through all the flashy modes. If you turn the light off though and you turn it back on again, it remembers the light, but you're going to have to click a second time to get into that flashy mode like that. All right, let's talk a little bit about performance. And I ran this test with the white LED on facing the sensor to the left like that. And you can see there's not really any change over 12 minutes. It does dip and drop by one lux every now and then, but for the most part, there's really no difference. So you can expect it to produce that constant 20 lumens throughout the entire use. Also ran some tests with my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and I was only able to get a reading at 1 meter because this does not, as you can see, it's not going to have really much throw at all. So at 1 meter, using the white LED, measured 11 candelas, which is 6.63 meters. Okay, that's still pretty decent considering how small this light is, and there's no reflector, no lens to speak of. Got a reading of 85.7 for the color rendering index, and CCT was measured at 5,962. Did also test the yellow and green LEDs as well, and I got a similar sort of throw figures, 5.65 meters, though I wasn't able to get any other readings on my Lightmaster Pro. The LEDs, as you can see, they're covered by this transparent polycarbonate. It helps to diffuse the beam. They're bright, very uncomfortable to look at directly. The white and green LEDs are almost bright enough to use as a walking light, but you're only going to get a few meters of range, like I mentioned before. I mean, even 5 to 6 meters is generous. I'd say maybe 2-3 meters max, where you're just able to still see what's on the ground, see where you're walking, give you a general indication of where you're going. I think it's got really impressive run times, as I was showing you in the box before, 12 to 20 hours on constant on, or if you got 56 to 113 hours if you just want to use the alert mode where it flashes on and off. Some considerations, like I mentioned before, this is for short range lighting only. It's not going to illuminate more than a few meters ahead. So if you're thinking of using this as a walking light, you definitely can use it for that, though I wouldn't recommend it just due to not having enough power and throw, especially if you are walking around in large areas and you just need extra visibility of your peripherals as well. But again, this is designed more as a multi-purpose light with signal function as its primary purpose. Polycarbonate construction is another thing to keep in mind. Okay, so it is durable, it does feel very durable still, and especially with this metal clip on the back, doesn't feel like it's going to budge anywhere. There's some screws that actually hold that clip in as well. Like I mentioned before, there's also that lithium polymer battery in here that's non-replaceable. So yeah, I mean, that just comes with the price tag and the design of this flashlight as well. All in all, the Nextorch UT41 is an inexpensive, versatile, and multi-purpose light that can be used for different scenarios. Reminds me a little of my Nextorch K40 in terms of those colored LEDs. I actually keep this one in my backpack for emergencies or when I forget to bring a proper light with me. I can always just grab it out of my bag. I got my K40 on my keychain. It's only 29 grams, and I was relieved that I had it with me the other day when I was out doing beam shots. Forgot my headlamp, and I'd actually just left this in my bag, which was great. Provided me just enough diffused light to continue working in the dark. So I've left a 10% off link in the description if you want to get one. If you have any questions, let me know as well in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you, answer your questions. There's probably some stuff that I've missed out. If you like this video as well, do me a favor, click that like button because it helps me get my videos out to more people. And if you want to see me make more reviews, make sure you subscribe. Nextorch UT41 signal light. I'm going to go a little bit further back in the distance so you can see what's going on. Okay, and this is the light just on white, 20 lumens. Okay. It's actually enough for me to see where I'm walking here on the ground, but you know, a few meters, that's about it. Maybe 2-3 meters max off into the distance. It's pretty bright. Just switch it on to some of the other modes. Okay, I can actually go on to this little blue and red flashy light, as you can see here. You've got the red light here. Okay, blue light through a press of the lower button. Okay, this is the yellow light, green light, and this one is actually really good. Like the green light, I was thinking that the white light might be brighter, but because I think our eyes are sensitive to green light, this is coming through quite well. I can see just as well, or if not even better than the white light. Back to that white again, okay, and yeah, that mode before was also the infrared mode. Let me just show you up close. Okay, the infrared. Okay, and you can just see it there on the camera. It's not too bright, okay, but that's more made for friend or foe identification with night vision. And you know, another thing you can do is you can tap this button and actually make it flash. Okay, just get that focus. You can see it just flash in front of my face here. Okay, while it's flashing, you can also just switch to all the other modes and get them to flash as well. So I think this would be good, even just using it as a bike light, warning light, that kind of thing, to attract attention. These LEDs are ridiculously bright when you look at them. They're uncomfortable to actually look at. Surface mount LEDs. Okay, back to the IR light again. Okay,